we didn't know that he was maybe superstitious or whatever, but he had to be the first guy on the plane.
Had to be,
yeah. So he's the first guy on the plane, but he had to make a pit stop before. So we're standing there waiting to get on the plane in front of the steps, and he's having a squirt on the front tire.
Clearing the crease. Oh. Clearing the crease. Aye, aye,
Welcome back to another edition of the Clearing the Crease podcast, powered by Ozoon. Well played. I am James Cybulski. Uncle Barney, Matthew Barnaby, back in the house. Razor, Andrew Raycroft, Mike Commodore, Commie, as you all know and love. And how about this? Former, you talk about a guy who's played in all the Canadian markets here, really kind of went coast to coast. Former Vancouver Canuck, former Calgary Flame, former Toronto Maple Leaf, and former Montreal Canadian and Stanley Cup winner, Gary Leeman in the house. Gary, how are you, man? Thanks for
coming, Gary. Thanks for coming.
Nice to be here, guys.
It's kind of had a moment where it's like, yeah, you're part of that 93 team, and that's so much is talked about with Patrick Waugh kind of carrying this band of misfits, if you will, a team that was kind of perceived as they have no business but the last team to win a Stanley Cup on Canadian soil, you were part of. Please, when is that curse going to end? Who would have thought that you would have been the last Canadian squad to win it?
Not us. We, I mean, it was a great experience, and we've been carrying that torch for so long. We want to pass it off.
I think we all.
The Canadian fans, they're suffering. So we need some winners here, and we don't know if we're ever going to get it here.
We were trying to figure that out earlier. Barney doesn't like the chances.
Yeah.
0.000.
That's what he said.
But I'm not surprised that Montreal has, the last standing team this year. They've built it properly, and I feel like there's a lot of similarities. We kind of grew together. I got there the year that we won, so I was traded there in January, late January. And so I didn't really feel like the team didn't have a chance. I wasn't really sure how good that team was. I actually had a choice when I was leaving Calgary, because I had to fire my agent to get out of Calgary.
Why?
Well, because I was getting the bone from the coach, who.
You feel good?
Not
Sorry, my mind went somewhere else.
Who's your coach? You know those situations, right? So I had played in the World Juniors for Dave King. So, and I was aware of him as a coach and whatnot. And
who was like Mr. Hockey Canada through the 80s.
Mr. Hockey Canada, for sure. Mr. Clean in front of the camera and all that stuff. But things started to change, and I let Ricky, my first agent, Rick Kern, know when they hired Dave in the summertime that we might have a problem. I turned him down twice for the World Championships, and I knew there could be a problem.
They don't take that well.
They don't like that shit.
They don't take that very well.
Yeah. So, and I had played like shit the year before there, but I had a great camp the next year. I was ready, and things were going well. And then it started to happen. And once that started, I got in front of it, and I said, Rick, here it's coming now, right? So I'd play well, and then not play the next game. We'd lose, I'd get back in, contribute, Anyhow, it went on too long, and I said...
But you were in and out of the lineup, essentially.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't at the beginning. Like, I was playing
You're playing
fine,
well.
So I said, Rick, listen, I can't do this too long. So something's going to have to happen. He talked to Al Coates, Al McNeil, really good hockey guys, great guys. Yeah, wonderful guys. And they said, look, we want this trade to work. And I said, well, it's not going to work if I'm not in the lineup, right? So I had become closer with Don Meehan because he wanted to get involved with the racehorses. And so I set him up with Sue Leslie, a good trainer, and Rob Landry, a good jockey, and all that stuff. But really good people that, you know, in that industry, you got to be really careful who you're.
Yeah, we learned that lesson yesterday. She taught me.
Yeah.
We had every horse.
Yeah, we had every
They
horse,
shot
and we
four-
still
They
lost.
shot our 4 horses.
They're all going to the glue factory after.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to be a historian in that game, isn't it? I looked at it after. I said, why wouldn't I like this top jockey? You know, whatever. You know. So anyhow.
So you get connected with Don Meehan.
Yeah. So we bought a couple horses together. So you know, I was friendly with him, and he brought some of the guys, and Cujo and Hatcher Brothers and LaFontaine and these guys. So we were having fun. You know, spending a little bit of money, but you know, you're not held. It's not you with, you know,
Not on
with,
your own.
big expense.
Yeah, you're splitting it up.
You're splitting it up.
And those horses are
little
cheap.
syndicate, little hockey
I
syndicate.
dabble
right?
too. And, you know,
Yeah.
those things eat.
Oh,
Look at the size of you.
the shitty ones do too.
Yeah, there you go.
So anyhow, I said to Donnie, I said, listen, I'm having a problem here, and what do you suggest? This was actually after I said to Rick, look, you got to get me out of here. And I gave him a deadline. I said, we're in New York in 2 weeks. Let's meet after the game and have some good news for me, right? So we met, and I said, what's going on? He says, they won't trade you. I said, Ricky, I got to let you go. And it was hard because I had him 10 years. So I was pretty confident, and so was Don, that, you know, he was going to. Anyhow, so I called Don the next day, and I said, Don, I made the move. He says, okay, sit tight. He called me the next day, and he says, where do you want to go? Minnesota, Chicago, Montreal, or Philadelphia?
You had those 4 options.
So I had those
Four
four
options.
options.
Those are all good, Mark.
The next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next day. So I said Chicago right away because I love playing in Chicago. Just, you know,
Back to
My
the
hair
Norris.
was
Back to the
yeah,
Norris there.
yeah.
It's a team I probably knew the best too, and I liked the way they played and all that stuff. And they had some good players. I was hoping to
Well,
play
this is
with
also at the same
Savard
time
and
they had
stuff
just
like
gone to
that.
the Cup final, I think, the year prior too,
Yeah.
right around that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Against Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Donnie said to me, listen, he says, I'm like this with Serge Savard, who was our GM. He says, I represent Jacques Demers as our coach, and of those 4 teams, they have the best chance of winning the Cup this year. And as soon as he said that, I knew I was going to pick Montreal, and I thought, holy shit, I'm from Toronto. I gotta tell my family and friends. So I'll call you back.
50 goals for the Leafs. Yeah.
And I called him back, and it was just sort of meant to be. Like the difference. I felt it right away. You were just totally respected by the organization, and you can see how they're playing now, and how you feel like the organization's really helping those players, and that's what you dream of, you know. So we got there, or when I got there, it was I had to go see Serge Savard right away. So you get to the rink, and he's in his office upstairs, and it's funny because it was almost like walking into the dark. There was one bulb over his desk, and he's about 300 pounds.
he's a big guy,
Godfather. It was awesome.
This is in the Forum?
Yeah, in the office. So, and then the rest is history.
That
So-
team won 10 overtime games, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys knocked us out in 4 straight in Buffalo, 3 in overtime. Every game was 4-3.
Every game was
Every
one goal
game was 4-3.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was crazy. It was just, you know, one of those things where just don't talk to Patrick, you know, don't wake him up. But we had, even I carry it with me now. He gave us this little, we're making a team commitment. So it was a card that you had to have with you just to keep you focused or you get fined.
Patrick did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, you know, it was smart.
Yeah, 100%.
And so.
That was his call to do that?
Yeah. So the reason I like Jacques Demers so much is he delegated. He let the veterans run the room, and so that was a great thing to do. drag the young guys into it. And it was my 10th year in the league, and I was watching Guy Carbonneau, who had won it before, everything he did. And that's what teams need to do. They need to, let the guys that have done it before. I'm sure he learned from Bob Gainey, who learned from Jacques Lemaire, and so on. Right?
Mm-hmm. That team you look at, Gary. I think a lot of times, and I think how revisionist history sometimes, it's like, oh man, Patrick Roy carried this, band of marauders and misfits and outcasts, and that team had no business. But we talk a lot about character and leadership in different teams that have gone through some dumpster fires over the last few years. There was low key a really good, strong group of veterans and leaders in that group, like Brian Bellows and Mike Keane, who I think guys loved playing with.
Mike Keane's
right?
But lefty too. Lefty.
I've seen some
Yeah,
videos.
never
He
grabbed
can
his right when he's a lefty.
But a lot of those, a lot of key veterans, talk about Dan Foose, Kirk Muller, I think, who's obviously been a coach for several years. There was a strong lead. I think we sometimes overlook, the character in that room seemed to be pretty strong.
Yeah, it was great. There was never an issue between, French, English stuff. It was just brothers. There was no, cliques like that. And that's when you run into problems.
Well, you talked about
How great was the
cliques.
celebration?
Yeah.
With the
it was
cup.
a blur, a
2-week
two-week blur.
Oh my goodness, that must have been.
I
Must have
remember-
been unbelievable.
Oh my God.
Yeah, start off
That is the dream.
Start off at that great buffet place, Chez Paris. Bring that in there.
Almost got a spit out of Gary.
That's where it ended.
You start there and end there.
Yeah.
Oh, your meetings to
that was a
happy
magical
endings.
time, really. That was a great bunch, and sorry, I
No,
just
no,
couldn't-
you're good. No. Well, I was gonna. You're from Toronto, right?
Yeah.
And then you played for the Pats, though. So I
Yeah.
was gonna ask you about that, but I think I have an idea. So I texted a guy this morning that was part of the Hound Line back here, Russ Courtnell.
No kidding.
So I said, we're talking to Gary today. Anything I should ask or whatever. And Russ responded. He goes, "Sweet, Screamin' Leeman, best athlete I'd ever played with
Jesus.
at." Which I'm assuming ND's Notre Dame, Wilcox?
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Saskatchewan.
He played soccer, provincial MVP. The football team asked him to come out and kick. He won Rookie of the Year and
What?
MVP. Let's see, what else
enigma.
is there?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's a ginger
athlete,
started
yeah,
playing
and a ginger,
golf
yeah.
one summer out there. Or maybe it was here.
Russ should have been my agent.
You got down to a single digit. Drafted as a D, converted to a forward, play on my
Okay,
line
that's
with
enough.
Wendell, scored 50, magician with the puck, and he could scrap.
And no social life.
How did you join? My dad went to Notre Dame, so
no way.
yeah. So I never did, but my dad did. How did you get out there? Because I'm assuming you're from here and you grew up out east, right?
I grew up here.
You grew up here, yeah.
I grew up.
Yeah, yes.
Born
From
in,
Toronto,
Born
grew
in
up
East
here.
York. I moved to North York and Scarborough. Played for Wexford growing up.
Okay.
And we had some good teams. We were winning the Ontario Championship every second year type
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
what happened was we had won the it was called the Loblaws Cup. So it was the.
Is
you
that
remember
Bantam? Was that
yeah,
Bantam?
that's right.
Yeah,
Bantam.
Major Bantam.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
And the
I'm
global.
just glad we brought an older guy than me on the podcast.
We're not alone anymore. Yes, thank you.
And the Globe and Mail had a Player of the Month award for the MTHL was back then. So they selected me for the month of March, I believe it was. And so it's a national paper, right? And so they had my mug and a little couple of paragraphs
Yeah.
on
What
what
you've
I
been
wanted
doing.
to do
Yeah,
and
sure.
continue my schooling and all that stuff, right? Well, Martin Kenny was the president of Notre Dame, and he picked the paper up. He read my name, and he called. What was it back then? You guys might not know, but he had to call to get somebody's number. You could call the operator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
like 411. There was like a 411 sort
Yeah.
of information
Yeah,
that
my
you would
dad
call the
had
operator.
the same name, and
Yeah.
it was just happened to get it, and he called, and I was away in a soccer tournament at the time, because this happened a few months later, and I came home from a tournament in Cincinnati, and my dad said, Martin Kenny called from Notre Dame. He wants you to go play hockey there, and I'm like, really? Like, where is it?
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Wilcox, Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
He said, oh, yeah.
You guys ever been to Notre
So-
Dame?
No, I've heard stories.
No.
So.
One grain elevator.
Oh, yeah. Very much there.
So I'm thinking to myself, like I'm 15, I'm not the brightest bulb, but I'm thinking, I'm leaving the biggest city in Toronto with the most exposure. We just won the Ontario Championship. I'm going to a town of 170 people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like my parents? I'm thinking my parents don't like me anymore.
So your parents wanted you to. They liked the idea of you going.
Well, yes and no. Yeah, I think my dad did.
Okay.
More so, and my mom always let me make my choice, and she made it make sense. She said, "Well, if you don't like it, just come back." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I get there and there's Gordy Kluzak, James Patrick, Brian Curran, Lyndon Byers, Dale
That's some tough
Durkach, who you
guys.
guys should know about.
Yeah.
What a crew.
Who everybody should know of. He was the best player I ever played with that never made it to the show. He was 5'5", 130 pounds, soaking wet. And he set junior records and stuff.
Yeah.
Were the rules
a
as
great-
crazy, like the discipline there, as much as we heard, like using like stand with your nose up against a tree if you miss curfew, or like I've heard like crazy stories. I don't know much about it.
Yeah, they let the inmates run the asylum there. Like
Yeah.
the old boy, you were an old boy or a new boy, and so the old boys ran the dorms, right? So if anybody got caught, I remember this poor guy got caught stealing somebody's calendar or something. And they take him to every room, and the old boy got to drill him.
Never stole a calendar again.
No, that's
By the time he came, so they were in the bigger dorm. When he came to our dorm, his chest was already purple.
How many dorms were there?
There were two. I think there were 300 or 260 students or something like that.
That's a lot of.
60 of them were, and then there was the girls' dorm. Those poor girls. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So it was a great place. Yeah, you hear the stories; they're mostly true, and lots of great players and coaches. Like right now, Rod Brindamore, Barry Trotz, and John Cooper.
really.
All guys.
All
Like
three.
three of the
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
best in the last couple decades. Or
Yeah.
you learn so much about hockey when you're there, and I don't think Coop made it played on I think he played on maybe the third team or something like
Okay.
that. But here he is, like what a guy to play.
But there's
for.
clearly a foundation,
Great
yeah.
guy to play for.
Yeah, there's clearly a foundation that you were
Yeah.
instilled
Yeah.
at Notre Dame in terms of those three names.
Yeah.
Rod Brindamore has obviously established himself as one of the best coaches in hockey right now. John Cooper obviously is the old guard now within the league, and
Yeah.
Barry Trotz obviously has had a tremendous track record. So
You learn, from what I've heard, you learn discipline there. My dad went there, and he went there because he stole a shotgun out of the back of some guy's truck. His dad was not impressed. Straight to Notre Dame.
Guess we
He
know-
loved it there, though.
And
guess we know who stole the calendar now, Coffee.
Those were that's what it was. You were basically a hockey player,
Yeah.
or somebody that's going down the wrong path, and,
Yeah.
and they let I guess all the peer pressure straighten the kids out, and it seemed to work.
I had a kid. I played junior in Quebec City, and we got a kid like end of October. He went to Notre Dame. He lasted 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. He's like, I can't. Quebec City to Saskatchewan, and then the rules.
Yeah.
He told me he literally was late by 2 minutes. And for 2 hours, he had to stand outside with his nose up against a tree. Couldn't move. Someone just sitting there, like reading the paper, just watching, and he
Probably
just had to have
wasn't
his
warm
nose right
either.
up against the tree and couldn't move.
That's nuts.
It went wild. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't last either.
They used to make guys sweep Main Street.
Come on.
Oh yeah. We had a few teammates that were out there doing it one time. That was interesting. But I would have never learned a lot of stuff had I stayed in Toronto, even though I thought, the exposure is great. They were already on your tail, like when you're winning, at 15 years old, you're on the radar.
You're on the
right?
radar, yeah.
So, we got 2 hours ice time every day on an Olympic-sized rink, and great coaching with my first year was Barry McKenzie. Second year was Terry O'Malley. These guys they played for Team Canada under Father Bauer.
Okay.
So
The Father Bauer, yeah.
I have a great Irish priest joke after the podcast, too. Really good one.
so Per, the priest who started the school, he was quite the character apparently. Now he had passed a couple years before I went there, but all the guys said he used to smoke and his ashes would get on his whatever you call
robe.
Yeah.
He'd drink scotch all day.
Yeah.
It's kind of priest that you really want to look for.
But he was
For salvation.
amazing. He knew like the royal family. Like he knew all the people that could help the school because they started it in the 30s and they had 15. They called them Argonauts. I think they were wayward kids.
Yeah.
And from Regina. And that was during the Depression and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So they started that school, and they turned it into a really like a hockey factory.
It was a powerhouse. We used to
really
play.
was.
I grew up outside of Edmonton. We played Notre Dame, like pee-wee, whatever, pee-wees and midgets and stuff, bantams and
Always strong?
Oh, yeah, it's real strong. Yeah, they'd come in. We had pretty good teams, too. God, I never played against them there, but like Brad Richards, I think Le Cavalier went there. And I'm missing a whole bunch. There's tons of guys. Oh, they would come in and just steamroll teams.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they were good.
Yeah.
There was no question about it.
That's fascinating that a place...
Football, too, right? The football teams, yeah, at least for those guys, because a couple of... I think his name was Marty Standish. He was a really good player. He played won a Memorial Cup in Portland, but he was a hell of a football player. Anyways, yeah, Notre Dame they were a very solid program.
Very solid program.
Yeah.
You talk about being...
Academy before there was an academy.
Yeah.
I think that's a
good
great point
yeah.
because I think that's what started all, the bigger centers to say, hey, we're losing kids to this place here. Why aren't we doing this?
Yeah.
So,
academies have taken over minor hockey in British Columbia, and I think that's, and I think,
Alberta,
talking
too.
to Jason Daw the other day, I think they're starting to see that trend now happen here. Talking about Toronto, Razor, you've got your time, you got your badge of honor being a former Leaf. You being a 50-goal scorer in Toronto, a couple of 30-goal seasons as well. I'm always fascinated by a Harold Ballard story. You were there. You got perfect. That's what I want. Yeah. What comes to mind? What comes to mind? What story comes to mind when you think of that experience from one of the all-timers?
I'm trying to think of the first one, but one that just is so, it was so prevalent because we traveled, he would travel with us, and it wasn't at the beginning when we had to fly commercial. We were flying commercial.
Yep.
And then once we started to, I think it was the next year or whatever, we started chartering and stuff. Well, we didn't know that he was maybe superstitious or whatever, but he had to be the first guy on the plane.
Had to be.
Had to be, yeah. So he's the first guy on the plane, but he had to make a pit stop before. So we're standing there waiting to get on the plane in front of the steps, and he's having a squirt on the front tire. you see the pilots going, what the?
Yeah.
What's going on down there?
And you couldn't get on before him?
No.
Everyone's just watching him squirt on the tire.
And he was, he was an older guy, right?
Yeah.
And he was starting to kind of go lose it at this point too. Yeah.
Yeah, he had signs, already, and so it didn't surprise you after a while. And we got on after one of those episodes, and that was when Rick Vive had just scored 50 for, I think, the third straight year, if I'm not incorrect. But there was an article in the paper that said Vive scores 50 for the third straight time. Looks like Ballard's going to have to loosen his purse strings. And he was the cheapest of all of them. But a great philanthropist.
He did a lot of donations to charity and all that, but didn't want to pay you.
Yeah, exactly. So, or Ricky.
Or Rick in this case, yeah.
So looks like Ballard's gonna have to loosen his purse strings, and so he finishes his squirt, gets on the plane. He's sitting in the front row, but he's putting his bag up, so you can't walk by him. And so I remember it because Ricky had a fur coat. There's 3 of our guys had fur coats, right?
Yeah.
And I was
Different
right behind
time,
him.
yeah.
And I remember just like putting my chin on his fur coat. Oh, that's nice and soft. Harold's right here. He puts his bag up, he turns to Ricky, and he's this far away, and he goes, "If you think you're getting another fucking dime out of me, you're crazy," and sits down. And I'm the young one going, "Holy cow. This is real." But he did a great thing when Martin Kenny, the president of Notre Dame,
Yeah.
showed up the year Wendell came. Mm-hmm. So I'm 3 years older than Wendell. So Russ had come and formed that line, the Hound Line. And apparently Martin Kenny knocked on Harold's door, the apartment in Maple Leaf Gardens. And come on in. So he goes in, he says, "Who the hell are you?" He says, "I'm Martin Kenny, president of Notre Dame." He goes, "I don't give a shit." He says, "Well," he says, "you owe me $1 million." Harold said, "F*** off." This is the story I heard.
What?
And he goes, "No, not till I get the money." He goes, why? He says, "You know those 3 kids out there?" And he was talking about the Hound Line.
Yeah.
He says, "They all came from my school."
Yeah.
He wrote him a check.
Wendell
No way.
wrote him a check.
Wrote him a check.
Really?
Oh shit!
That's
I
what I
didn't.
heard.
Oh, that's
What?
not the answer. I was
Yeah.
wow.
Seriously?
Yeah. So that's what I heard.
I thought he was
Wow.
going to have security take
Right.
him out,
Yeah. That's,
arrest him.
right.
For $1 million?
I don't know if it was $1 million, but
Wrote
that's
him
what he
a check.
asked for.
But he,
Yeah.
but he wrote him a check
Wow.
for
Probably not $1 million. When you think about it.
Whittled him down.
That's
a
what
little
I heard. So
a couple of dimes. Anyway.
Yeah.
he was great that way, but
I feel like
unless you want his kids.
we have just scratched the surface, but honestly, like, thank you
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
giving us story time. This was fascinating. Some
Yeah, my
great
pleasure.
laughs.
Gary.
And,
That's it.
thanks so much. Yeah.
Shorter
Come back
round.
again.
Man, we brought
Anytime you want.
Hey,
Yes, please come
2
back.
gingers. You guys not extinct yet.
That's right.
Do you still have a horse brush to? Commie's
Well, next
hair
time
is
we
getting a
come back here,
little
I'm gonna give you a call.
staticky up
We need
there.
help up there.
Just brush Secretariat down here.
I wish I was secretary. Not quite.
You're
as
fast.
Oh yeah, really.
There he is for one of the Stanley Cup champion
being
with the
here,
Montreal
guys.
Canadiens. Probably remembered best as the Toronto Maple Leafs, the one and the only Gary Leeman joining us on this edition of the Clearing the Crease podcast.
Great
Powered
golfer,
by
too.
Ozoon.
Well played.
Well played.
Well played.